Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well today. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to review a red dot, which we don't normally do on the channel, but it is the OSight S. And before you guys think that they were bombarding me with emails trying to send me this product, I actually went out when I was at EWA and I went to their booth because I wanted to know more about this OSight S red dot. Guys, you know that I've been carrying the FN Reflex for a little over a year now. I was going to switch to the CC9, but I held off on that. And this has been a great pistol for me, you know, once I got everything sorted out with it. Now, prior to the OSight S, I actually had the Holosun, the EPS on there. And you guys can see all the damage that this has gotten from my belt buckle and everything else because I've been carrying it diligently for over a year. But guys, it is a lot smaller when you compare the OSight S to the Holosun. Now, it is completely different on the form factor and the size. They're both closed emitters. And before you start naysaying the Chinese products, unfortunately, guys, they're here. You know, if you're using a cell phone of any sort, it's coming from China. There's so much stuff that comes from China, including Teslas and everything else, that, you know, everyone's kind of accepted Holosun. Now, OSight's kind of new to the game. They're not new with their flashlights, the O-lights, but you also know that I don't sit there and inundate you guys with flashlight videos, although I could like everyone else does. I know it's a good way to generate income, but I like what I like. I like Surefires, I like Streamlights, and nothing against, you know, O-light or anything like that, but I just do drops when I want to do a drop. I do a video when I want to do it. So on this OSight S, I like the fact that it was considerably smaller, and I like the magnetic charging. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a drop test and all this other stuff on it. I'm going to give you my evaluation of it and tell you what I think of the new OSight S. Do it again. All right, so in evaluating this OSight S, guys, it does have a lot of benefits. It is smaller than anything else I've seen. It does have the RMSC footprint, so you have a direct mount directly to a lot of different smaller subcompact carries that are out there today. It boasts a 21,900 hour battery life on it, which is rechargeable with that magnetic charging cover. Now, while that's neat, it's been the bane of my existence because I keep misplacing the thing. I think it's one of those things, because it does have such a long battery life, you'd be better off just running it the way that it is. Put that battery bank charger that goes on top in your safe. That way it's good for safekeeping. They give you a little lanyard, but I always seem to misplace that thing. It does have 10 daytime settings with 2 night vision settings. It does have co-witnessing sights. Even on this FN, you can see how small this platform is. I can still see the top of my irons without having to put any type of suppressor height sights on it. Now, they've even thought it out where they've given you some raised sections here on the back of this red dot so that you could use that as kind of like the rear sight for it. It does have about 35 minutes of angle of adjustment, 1 minute clicks for elevation and also windage. It is IPX7 rated for waterproofness. It is a sealed emitter front and rear, which I think is a great thing for any type of concealed carry, because you're going to get a ton of debris in there. You're going to get just lint and everything else over your carry pistol. We know how that is. And guys, this thing only weighs 0.97 ounces. So it's not even a full ounce. The thing is super, super lightweight. It does have the shake to wake, the motion sensing. It also has the auto adjustment for brightness. If you get in a dark situation, it goes down. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to kind of set it where I like it and just leave it there. I'd rather it be bright and just charge it, you know, more intermittently when I want to, than have to rely on this thing going up and down and being too dim or too bright when I don't need it to. So I am no stranger to OSight. I remember back in the day when I first started my channel, it was probably maybe a year old or so. They actually sent me this this Valkyrie, this PL Mini 2, and believe it or not, this thing actually still works perfectly without any issues. Pretty unique system, and it had the little disc charger on it. Now, I've been told that in a pinch you can use that disc charger on the top. I don't know, but one of the things that did concern me with all the damage that I have on the Holosun from the way I carry appendix, is it going to damage this magnetic charging system? So I actually took a metal tool and I scratched the hound out of this, and it still charges. I've seen no detriment to it, and you guys can see all of these deep scratches that I've put on it. Because I also went and drop tested this, because I know some of the initial testing, guys were noticing a shift in the zero. I didn't notice that at all. As a matter of fact, the OSight actually outlasted the FN Reflex. Oh wow, my FN just lost the magazine retainer. So I've never dropped the FN Reflex. Very interesting. Wonder if I can get this thing back in, or how this goes back in. So we're gonna break momentarily and we're gonna see if this thing will go back in. But I think I just found a small flaw with the FN Reflex, because you're gonna lose your magazine. Now you're gonna have to hold it in there, and I gotta see if I'm missing any other pieces, but it came out as one unit. On the drop, when I dropped the pistol, I continually dropped it on the top side like this. And what ended up happening is I guess without a magazine in here, and because you have an ambidextrous, or at least where you can switch sides on the magazine release, that spring released, I lost my magazine release and I had to put it back in. Now it was rather simple to do that, but it was a weak spot that I actually learned about the FN Reflex. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot on the range a little bit. We'll see how far we can take it and take it back. We'll see, we'll do a couple more drop tests here just so you guys can see it real time. And like I said, I'm very, very satisfied with it. Guys, you do have a plus minus symbol here. This is also where you're going to do your auto on off. It's also where you're going to do your brightness adjustment. There's a lot of different things you can do by holding down the minus or holding down the plus. But like I said, I've had no issues with shift or anything like that with this, and this is a sample of one. Also have an X that I'll review at a later time. I'm going to try that on some machine guns and stuff that I can't really show on the channel, but I'll still give you a review of that. It's very simple, very similar to this one, but it is a larger platform, a larger window, and it doesn't have a closed emitter. Guys, price point on this is $200. So I've seen it actually cheaper than that. So MSRP being, you know, whatever it is, I mean, the street price on this being $200, I think that's actually pretty great. You can always check how much power you have left by this little LED that's in between the plus and minus, and you can also check the battery level with the convenient top cover. What we're going to do is we are going to just shoot, guys, I'm actually at a pretty good distance here. This is close to 25 yards. We've got a steel plate, we've got the spinner over there. We'll do a couple shots, we'll drop it, we'll throw it down, and then we'll see if we can maintain it again. Then we'll take it out to 50 and 75, see if we can get even out to 100, see if we can get some impacts on some of these steels. So let's go ahead and try it out. All right, so I've just loaded this up with some Remington range, just some range ammo. We are at 25 yards. I have this on auto brightness. I have full sun behind me. Let's go and see if we can hit this steel plate to the left. I don't know where it's going to focus, but here we go. Yeah, so all three, one miss on the small one up there, but like I said, we are at 25 yards. All right, that's 3 in a row, no problem, at 25 yards. So while this is continuing to go, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and empty the slide, empty magazine, and then what I'll do is I'll take the camera and let me pan it over. This is going to be one continuous run, guys. And we're going to focus on the Ranger there. And guys, this is not a torture test per se, but let's be realistic. If we are taking something and we're going to carry it daily, I mean, this actually shouldn't hurt it. We'll go ahead and drop it on the ground from head height. And that was actually directly on top of the sight itself. Let me go ahead and throw some rounds into this. Whoop, dropping ammo. And we'll see if it held to zero at 25 yards. And remember, this is a little tiny subcompact, guys. This is not a full-size pistol. And I am not going to cut this roll whatsoever. It's just one continuous run. Let's go ahead and get it where you guys can at least see the targets. There we go. And we will go for the left side, third IPSC, and bottom, and top. And that's an impact, 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 all three. So I've had no issues with this thing shifting. I don't know if it'll focus in this close. Maybe it will. But you can see where I've actually put this through the test pretty heavily. What we're going to do is we're going to just go to 50 yards and see if I can get some impacts on it, and we'll resume there. So stand by. All right, so I've stepped back to 50 yards. I've got the same pistol. All we did was just walk it back. Not a realistic shot, especially on that small IPSC, but we'll go ahead and shoot for it. Full sun behind me. Here we go. Far left target. Impact. Let's do it again. Impact. Let's see if we can go for the small, the right side double spinner. No sight. Oh, I'm actually just off right. There it is, that's an impact. Go back to the third IPSC. Just a hair right, hair left. Oh, it nicked it. And that's an impact. So it's not losing zero, guys. Let's see what else we can do. Geez, I'm running out of options here. I'll tell you what, let's just take it back to 100. I'll drop it on the platform a few times. We'll check and see if we can get an impact on the little third IPSC, and that'll end the review. Let's try it out. All right, guys, so the light is kind of funky this time of day. We're at 100 yards. I shouldn't be shooting a subcompact at those type of distances, especially on a little small 10 by 18. Probably won't be able to hit it, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is just kind of focus that down range so maybe you guys can see it if I do hit it. We'll just give it 3 shots just to see if we can even come close. Here we go. Oh, that was an impact. First round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing this around, and then I'm going to let you guys, continuing here. Whoops. Now, what I am going to do, I need to lighten this up a little bit. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the pistol because I don't want to be stupid with this. So nothing in the chamber. And I'm going to take this from standing height, waist, here we go, on the OSight. Oh, that was solid. All right, so what we're going to do is now, actually I have one that I can rack. Let me just, continuous. You get back over here. What we're going to do is we'll just put one in the chamber. I'm going to tap back down range. And guys, if I don't hit it, it's probably because it's 100 freaking yards, okay, with a little subcompact. So here we go. We'll try it again. I'll give it 3 shots. Impact. Guys, if this thing wasn't holding zero, there's no way you'd be able to do that. And I did that one continuous cut. You guys saw it. No magic, no anything like that. And of course, I'm not getting paid by OSight or anything for this. But my experience with this has been solid. You guys can see the damage on the gun where I actually dropped it in the rocks just to test it because I wanted to know. For no other reason than I just wanted to know. And you guys know that I'm not into torturing things, but I also know that concealed carry pistols get treated very roughly. They get neglected, and it's got to work when it needs to work. So I'm actually going to give this OSight S a thumbs up. I've had no issues with it moving. I've had no issues with anything with it, and it seems to perform very well. So like I said, I get nothing out of it. Just wanted to bring that information to you guys. Hope you guys have a great week. I'm headed to the gathering this weekend. If you're going to be in Clinton, South Carolina, definitely come by and say hello. Like I said, I'll have some patches there. I'll be there with the Microtech booth at the Palmetto State Armory, the gathering function. It'll be a great time. You'll be able to shoot a lot of different firearms from all different manufacturers, and I look forward to seeing you there if you can stop by. You guys take care. Thank you for making the channel such a success, and please do me a favor. If you're watching the channel and you're not subscribed, I'd really like to grow the channel. I'd like to break 200,000 subscribers this year. That's a personal goal for me. And I think there's enough time to do it if you guys will share the word and then also hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, and I would really appreciate it. You guys take care and have a great week.